This show features adults using adult language. You have been warned.
There you go, Jan. You've had your HammerCast cherry popped.
Yay!
Wow, is that the sound it makes? This is HammerCast, episode 23, bringing you your news and discussion about the world of games. All sorts of games. The ones where you smash buttons, click mice, shuffle cards, or roll dice. Today is Wednesday, August 26th, 2015. Todd Chartier and Joe Hollis are on assignment this week at PAX Prime in Seattle, Washington. Joining me in their stead is longtime Hammer and first-time guest host Jan Rivera. Welcome to the show, Jan.
Yay! Hello, everyone. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm not doing bad. Hopefully our listeners aren't doing bad either. And making her second stint as guest host is friend and Hammer, Miss Erika Jonell. Welcome back to the show, Erika.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
So, ladies, what have you been playing lately?
Well, for me, a whole lot of nothing because I had a recent computer crash. So yeah, I've been logging into WoW and playing. Before that, I was playing a lot of Telltale Games, Game of Thrones. So
I picked that up during a Steam sale not long ago. How is it? Am I going to enjoy myself?
Did you ever play the Walking Dead version?
I watched someone play the whichever one is the one with the werewolf and the fairy tales. The Wolf Among Us.
Yep.
Yeah, I watched somebody play that on Twitch, and it looked amazing, which is one of the reasons I picked up the Game of Thrones game.
I think it depends on your level of interest in the story in general. I love the whole Game of Thrones series. I haven't read the books yet, but I love the TV show. I know, I'm bad. I have them on my Kindle, if that counts.
Hey, me too. Only I've been reading them.
Yeah,
I need to get to that.
I know. I started it and I was like, I just watched this. But yeah, no, I really love the game. It's choose your own adventure books, which I loved as a kid. And you get to fight and kill stuff too.
That's always a plus. Erika, what have you been playing?
Ooh, a bunch of different stuff. I would say, well, I'm actually kind of late to the party with the whole GTA 5 thing, but I've had a good time playing that and causing mayhem and just generally being a nuisance to humanity. A little bit of WoW here and there. Started playing around with Witcher 3, which I enjoy a heck of a lot more than Witcher 2 already. Its open world elements are fantastic. And I recently started up Final Fantasy, 14? Playing around on that a little bit, and that's actually quite fun. Yeah, on my PlayStation 4, and it actually translates incredibly well to console, probably because it was designed for one. But it's good. It's got everything that you're looking for in a modern MMO. I mean, it's got group finders and quest trackers and everything to basically make sure that you have something to do whenever you log in. And just this morning, I picked up Until Dawn, which I will probably give a good fling after we're done here, because I'm really looking forward to that. Everything I've heard about it is that it's pretty good. I mean, it's not perfect, but it sounds like it should be quite some fun, especially in the dark.
You and I have very different definitions of fun in the dark. Getting my ass scared off of me is, not my cup of tea. But more power to you, Erika.
What is it? A horror game? What is it?
Yeah, it's kind of like your like a cabin in the woods type of horror game.
Oh no, thank you.
So I've been playing a wide variety of games, actually, just because it's been 2 weeks since I last recorded. I've been playing Dragon Age Inquisition. I got back into that game after watching my brother-in-law play through it while I was on vacation. And I started over when I came back last week, and it's been a lot of fun. It's been what I've been doing in the evenings instead of sitting at my computer, which is great. I've been playing a lot of Bravely Default on the Nintendo 3DS.
How is that? I've been wondering about that one.
It's very, very good. I thoroughly enjoy it. It is proof that when they get their heads out of their asses, Square Enix can still crank out a really good, respectable, traditional JRPG. And it has all sorts of great modern affordances that make it a lot more palatable to someone who doesn't have the time to sit for 10 hours straight in front of a console all day. We'll go ahead and link more about Bravely Default in the show notes, which you can find for this week's episode at hammergaming.com/HammerCast/23 for episode 23. I also have been playing some board games, or at least some tabletop games. My copy of Exploding Kittens came in 2 weeks ago. And yes. I played it with my family while we were on vacation, and it is hilarious. It is a lot of fun in a very short amount of time,
very cool.
Which I guess I could say were some of my dates in college too. But anyway,
self-burn, ow.
Yeah, well, if somebody's going to be doing the burning, it may as well be me. Wait, that didn't sound right either. Exploding Kittens is fantastic. My only complaint is that it only lasts about 15 to 20 minutes once everybody at the table knows how to play. But that's great because it's the perfect filler game for when you're transitioning from one longer game to another longer game and you want to keep everybody from getting bored and eating all your snacks. We used Exploding Kittens while I was on vacation as the filler game in between rounds of Seven Wonders. Now, Seven Wonders is a great card draft game that likes to masquerade as a board game. I was introduced to this a couple years ago when Line Freeze and Calisandra came out to visit in preparation for the community barbecue. Not this year, but the year before, so 2014. You take the role as one of the civilization builders behind one of the seven wonders of the ancient world, and you try to build up your specific wonder as well as the rest of your civilization in competition with everyone else at the table. And the person with the most amount of victory points at the end of your 3 ages wins. It's really simple. It looks a lot more complicated than it really is, but once you get into it, it's super duper simple, really easy to learn, really easy to teach, and a hell of a lot of fun. I introduced Tomac, my brother-in-law, to the game while we were on vacation, and he sat down at the table, we played 1 game, and then we proceeded to play 3 more. Because he was so into Seven Wonders. So if you guys haven't checked that out yet, either of you or those of you listening at home, go give Seven Wonders a shot. It's an excellent, excellent tabletop game.
Yes, I give it 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, I actually played it when I went to go visit Line Freeze and Cali, so it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed myself.
Great. So 3 thumbs up from HammerCast. You should run out and get your copy soon. Let's head straight into follow-up now. Last episode, we were talking about the ESL trying to implement anti-doping policies for esports after it came to light that apparently doping is rampant in the esports community. They instituted some new anti-doping policies for the recent ESL 1 Cologne event. It was a Counter-Strike Global Offensive tournament that took place in Germany last Saturday on the 22nd. Their players were subject to randomized testing for Adderall and other banned performance-enhancing substances. Now, just the appearance of strictly enforced fair play seemed to go a long way towards lending ESL 1 Cologne greater legitimacy as an event, given these recent revelations about doping in esports. How do you guys feel about that?
Well, I guess it's once you start getting doping in your sport event, then yeah, I think you've made it into the world of sports, because at that point people actually care enough about it to try to cheat the system enough to win, which means that apparently there's something worthy of earning. So I guess congratulations, ESL, you've made the big time.
Yeah, I guess esports is now a thing, huh?
I tried to navigate the site a little about, what was exactly banned. It was a little, I don't know. I kind of gave up after a little bit. But do we know what exactly they're talking about here? Is this just like Adderall, just things like that, or,
Yeah, the 2 big names that I saw in the article, which we'll link in the show notes, were Adderall and marijuana.
Marijuana?
How is that?
I don't know why you'd want to be stoned while playing Counter-Strike.
I just want to go in the corner and sleep, and damn it,
Yeah,
They're totally like opposite sides of the spectrum.
exactly.
Is
I mean,
that like, it's like they like making special brownies and giving them to the other team? Is that how they're using it?
we'll dope the opponents, and that's our sabotage.
We're going to make them constantly hungry, so then they have to drink this concoction, which is actually laced with X-Lax.
Oh.
There you go, laxative doping.
I know it's called CS:GO. I didn't realize it was CS:GO poop.
Yep. There you go.
So, announced during E3 2015 was Ubisoft's Rainbow Six Siege. It's a payday-style cooperative shooter that puts players in the shoes of counterterrorism agency Rainbow Six. It was one of a handful of shooter titles that both looked truly promising and had an announced release date of October 13th. Well, Siege has been delayed nearly 2 months now to December 1st. Ubisoft says they're looking to shore up the game's co-op gameplay and user experience. Now, these are some vague yet really high-level phrases to toss around at this late in the product's development cycle.
Yeah.
Should the fact that Ubisoft is choosing to jack around with what should be fundamental facets of the game just 6 weeks prior to a release date be a red flag to buyers?
Yeah, I would take that as a red flag. Personally, because if it was originally sold as a co-op experience and now they're saying, hey, yeah, you know that co-op? Yeah, it isn't quite done yet.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Like, and pushing it back only 2 months, is that going to be enough time to fix the co-op on a co-op game?
Yeah, I'm wondering if this is going to end up being another Assassin's Creed Unity. Where the game's going to come out and it's going to be complete and utter shit for 2 months while they patch everything that's wrong with it.
That was exactly what I wrote down. That's what it's sounding like to me.
It's worrisome.
They're trying to push it out like in time for the holidays, but
yeah, especially considering I've been wanting a good Rainbow Six game, like, the more action-oriented Rainbow Six since Las Vegas 2 came out. And because I loved Rainbow Six Vegas and Vegas 2 because they were great, kind of strategy tactical games from a first-person perspective. And, because that's when they really started diverging heavily from, their original kind of format, which was strictly like tactical planning.
Right.
And it became more, action-focused in the minute tactical, which made it much, much more fun, to play. So I was really looking forward to this game, and now I'm kind of hesitant.
I watched the trailer for it when I was reading the story. Do you think it's going to be much different than The Division? Are they just stretching themselves too thin between those two?
Oh, The Division's a completely different kind of game. It's more of an open world with encounters with opposition multiplayer as opposed to
it's more of an MMO, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of like an MMO sort of thing.
Okay. I thought it was just small teams and not sure.
All right, maybe I heard wrong. I just knew that there was a decent online component to it.
Yeah, the demo that Ubisoft put on during I want to say it was Microsoft's presser during E3 was kind of amazing. I'm going to try and dig that up to put into the show notes. So, Division demo.
I know, because when I saw it, I was just like, oh, I want that game.
Yeah.
They announced it, 2 years ago?
The Division?
Yeah, they announced it like back, I think. Actually, it may have come out when they did the original PS4 announcement.
Oh, wow. That was like 2 years ago now, right?
Yeah, I was really excited for that, and they keep pushing it back,
So, the Chinese console ban is dead. We went over this last episode, and its body isn't even cold yet, but already a Chinese company has decided that today is a good day to infringe copyright. The Ouya console, which is not to be mistaken for Razer's recently purchased Ouya brand, is a cheap Android games console that rips off not only Ouya's name, but the PS4 case and the Xbox One controller. So for $100, you too can get your little cousin the video game console that tells her that you really don't love her at all.
Well, did you see? They took 6 months to develop the unique design too.
Oh yeah. 6 months to
Wow.
do a plaster cast of a PS4 and turn it into an injection mold.
Yeah, they probably just went like 6 months trying to come up with a design and just said, fuck it.
1 week ago, they decided on this.
That is just, this thing is just ridiculous. So all of you out there who are looking to buy something for your young family member or friend or significant other, if you ever see the Ouye in stores, which you probably won't, it'll probably be Chinese only because it's so copyright infringe-tastic, they couldn't possibly sell it in the US. But if you ever find this thing,
Maybe for a day.
don't touch it. It is poison.
You will probably get cancer.
Yeah. This console will give you cancer.
Not actual cancer.
Just like soul cancer.
Soul cancer. Yeah. That's like the worst kind because it just carries with you forever.
Yeah, you'll get reborn
forever,
and you'll still
be
dying.
the person who actually bought that piece of crap.
All right, so let's talk about Legion.
Yay!
Legion is the name of the 6th expansion to World of Warcraft. The expansion will continue the demonic invasion storyline started in 2013 during Mists of Pandaria and continued through the current expansion, last year's Warlords of Draenor. The expansion will feature a new continent, a new Demon Hunter hero class, artifact weapons, and an increase in the level cap to 110. The lore drops in this expansion read like a fan wish list, and a lot of people have called Legion the break in case of declining subscriber numbers contingency plan. Will it work?
It's working for me already. Yay!
I want to know more about it. I'm hopeful. But I definitely want to know a little bit more about, I guess, everything behind it and stuff. And I have this, kind of personal theory that, there's like an A team and a B team to the World of Warcraft expansions, at least since Lich King, because we had Lich King, which was good. And then we had Cataclysm, which was which was okay. And then we had Pandaria, which was good. And then we had, Draenor, which is okay. I mean, it's decent, but I would not say it was as good as Pandaria from like a lore and a things to do perspective.
No, not by a long shot.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm thinking Legion will be the A team again. And so my hope is it will be freaking awesome. And of course, everybody and their mother is going to be playing a Demon Hunter probably on day one. So I'll be playing my shaman. But yeah, it should be interesting. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what comes up with it.
I just realized, we all play on Moonguard, which for those of you who don't play World of Warcraft, Moonguard is a role-playing server for World of Warcraft's North American cluster. And we have entire cities full of blood elf, vampire, cat girl, daughters of Illidan. And now that they can actually be demon hunters with the wings and the tattoos, they're going to be everywhere.
Oh, God.
Goldshire is going to crash the server.
Oh, my God. You're absolutely right.
We're doomed.
But
so,
I swear it was probably, I guess when that was announced, then all those, ERP players, heads probably just like exploded.
Yeah.
For those of you out of the loop on the MMO lingo, ERP is erotic roleplay. I'll let your imagination fill in the gaps on what that is. Jan,
it's just as bad as it sounds.
Yeah, Jan, you seem the most excited out of pretty much anybody I've encountered online about Legion. So what's got you all lathered up?
Just everything. I've been waiting. Green is my favorite color. I love Fellfire. I love everything about it. I'm just excited for the getting out of garrisons because they are a nightmare. Going back to a central hub for both factions.
Mm-hmm.
Going back into Azeroth. I hate being, I like being around everyone in the city. The class order halls which are going to be interesting.
Yeah, they're kind of like garrisons, but not, and they're going to have a focus on getting you back out into the world rather than sitting at your table managing other people going out and having adventures.
Yeah.
I enjoy the role play aspect of Moonguard. I role play occasionally. And I think this is going to just add to it, the class order halls, because then you can interact with, people with similar stories, instead of just being locked away. Like, okay, fun, I'm the commander of this garrison, but I'm just talking to myself in there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you wanted to do that, I mean, you just break out the wine.
Yeah, definitely. And I do that a lot too. So
Don't judge me.
I'm also interested in the artifact weapons, seeing how that goes.
Now, you and I are going to have a fight about this.
Uh-oh.
I guess it all depends on what they're doing with these artifact weapons. I mean, are they just like, oh, we're just going to implement like 5 specialized kind of like legendary weapons that you have to quest your heart out, and these are the only 5 you can get? Or are they going to have one for each class type?
It's one for every class type, and basically as part of your intro quest line, when you start the Legion storyline, you're going to be going off on a hunt to find these artifact weapons and empower them so that you can use them against the Burning Legion.
Mm-hmm. You get it really early, and you just level it up as you go.
I mean, if they do it well, it could be a lot of fun. If they do it wrong, it'll be kind of like the Lord of the Rings legendary item system when it first came out. Exactly.
That was so bad.
Exactly. It'll turn into that, and all that fun of getting that new shiny thing will disappear entirely. It'll be replaced by, oh, I have to grind this weapon. No.
Oh, yeah. It was made very clear during their Gamescom presentation that, there is going to be some grinding involved in customizing and powering up your artifact weapon. But here's the thing that got me about it. I mean, I like the idea of wielding Ashbringer or the Doom Hammer and so on. But if everybody has this amazing, one-of-a-kind artifact weapon, if everyone is special, then no one will be.
Well, it's the same now. We're all commander.
That's true. But we all have our different gear. I mean, at a certain level, you all start to look the same no matter what. But you can transmog that away. Are you going to be able to transmog away your artifact weapon and make it look like a run-of-the-mill sword?
Yes,
or
you can.
Okay, so you can. All right. Yeah. That's a little bit more interesting to me.
You can transmog your artifact weapon, but you can't make another weapon look like the artifact.
Got it.
So,
interesting.
I'm really interested how they're going to do. How are we getting Doomhammer? Does that mean that
Thrall's retiring?
Yeah. Is Green Jesus going to die?
Yeah. Or does he just decide, you know what? I'm done with the Doomhammer. I want the Ultra Doomhammer, or
the Ultra Doomhammer.
The hammer. Or the hammer of immediate depression. Or
don't mess with him, or he'll send you to your Ultra Doom.
The despair hammer. Who knows? I don't know. I guess it all depends. I guess. Well, we'll find out, won't we?
I guess we will.
And have you seen how they're going to do specs too for hunters? Did you see any of that?
No, I did not. Do you have a link we can throw in the show notes?
I can dig one up, but they're breaking it up. Basically, one's going to be a melee class, one's going to be ranged, and one's going to be ranged with the beast. So,
interesting.
So they're changing it up.
Well, I did notice while I was rolling a hunter the other day just to try it around that the hunter felt like it really needed some work. Like some of the other classes. I mean, some of them have gotten a lot of love, and some of them have just kind of been left in the dust.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Erika, my dear.
Don't talk to me. I play a rogue.
I have played a hunter since 2008, and they have been in a gameplay shambles, shall we say, ever since they took them off of mana when Cataclysm came out. Like, they have been trying to get that class back to where it was for years.
At least you don't have to
not there.
arrows anymore.
That's true.
I
At least
mean,
we don't have to carry
it's
around
like
ammo.
yeah, exactly. You look at like, the specializations for that class and you're like, they're all sharing like the same special skills, and it's like, this doesn't really give me much of a variation in my class at all. And there's other classes that suffer from this. Priest, for example. I mean, both of the healing classes all, like, I think they all share some of the same skills, and they're like listed on their like the 4 main skills, and it's like, no, that's not how it's supposed to work, Blizzard.
Yeah, I just did a look. Survival Hunter is
going to be the melee.
Yep, that's going to be melee.
Yeah,
and then the other 2 are going to be ranged.
So marksman will be the one without the pet.
Yep, marksman's going to be like a ranger, and
yeah, they already have a talent or a glyph or something, I think, where they can ditch the pet and just be badass all by themselves.
Okay, yeah, that's what they're doing. They're going to be making big changes to classes, so that's the big one they announced so far.
Well, Legion has no announced beta date at this time, and because we have no beta date, we have no release date. So I'm guessing it'll be maybe springtime, summertime next year, but that would mean we'd need to start seeing a beta pretty much next month. So if we don't see that, then we know it's probably coming for holiday or fall 2016. We'll update you more on future episodes of HammerCast as we learn it. Heroes of the Storm is going to be bringing the StarCraft 2 Medic to its roster of heroes, but it will also be doing away with the Team League mode. At Gamescom, Blizzard showed off the highly mobile support character for their free-to-play MOBA. The Team League mode, which Line Freeze and I were actually talking about not long before this news dropped, is where players would assemble the same group in order to play as a unit. Think of it as like a small guild for Heroes of the Storm. However, much like WoW's Looking for Raid feature, the Hero League mode has proven much more popular due to its ability to let players jump in and out of the game queue as desired without having to rustle up 4 or more friends. So that's interesting. I know neither of you are really into Heroes of the Storm, but I for one am not surprised to find a queue option survive over a planned option where you have to wrangle cats to get everyone together.
So can you still group up with friends and jump in the queue?
Oh yes, absolutely. Hi, doggy. The Team League mode would let you compete against only other Team League players. So say we put together a group of hammers who are all of the appropriate level, and we created a team for the Team League. We would only be playing against other organized teams in the Team League.
Okay, so this is basically like Blizzard's kind of long-term plan to probably start trying to take on Dota and League of Legends.
In what way?
Well, by creating these team leagues, they have some sort of formalized league structure, which means now they can start creating more professional teams or more organized teams, and a way to track and manage that. So eventually, well, where does that go? ESL.
The problem with that is that the Team League is what's being removed from the game.
Oh.
So the Team League is present now, has been present in the game since launch, and it will be removed from the game in a forthcoming update.
Oh, okay.
Because apparently a very, very small percentage of their player base was actually making use of it. It just wasn't popular at all. So that's interesting. Also in Blizzard news, they put up a job listing this month for an art director for an unannounced project in the Diablo universe. The conditions or the requirements for the job position seem to look for a high-level art director with tons of experience in the gaming industry. So whatever it is Blizzard is working on, it's going to be big.
I mean, it could be almost anything. I mean, it could just be the next expansion. They could be, wanting to, well, my guess is it's either an expansion or some sort of spin-off.
Yeah, they definitely left the storyline open enough at the end of Reaper of Souls for there to be room for another expansion, a Diablo 4. So I really look forward to seeing what they do with this. I love Diablo. It's one of the few franchises that Blizzard has that they have not dragged through the mud at least once. So I'm really excited to see what they're coming up with. And what is probably paying for this endeavor is Hearthstone. Hearthstone is making Blizzard $20 million a month.
That's crazy.
Wow. And it's a free-to-play, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's a free-to-play game. So now we know why Bethesda and EA are trying to jump in on the card game bandwagon. You know, they both announced card games during E3. They didn't actually show any gameplay or anything, but they did make sure that everybody knew that they were getting into this genre. And if Blizzard's making this kind of bank every month, then, you know, there's got to be some more money on the table for everybody else.
I don't know, because I mean, what was it? Mojang, the creators, Mojang, sorry, behind the Minecraft series, they were the ones who came out with this first type of like competitive online card game, other than like Magic had been trying it for like a decade,
right?
And unsuccessfully. And then Mojang came out with their Scrolls, and it was moderately successful at first. And then they were just steamrolled by Hearthstone. And everybody forgot about Scrolls. So, you know what? I'm thinking Blizzard pretty much just pulled a Blizzard and ate up most of the competition. And I'm not sure Bethesda or EA is really going to be able to make much of a dent. Just, you know, because a lot of other like MOBA, like in the MOBA realm, you know, League of Legends and Dota are the two, you know, 800-pound gorillas. So we got 1,600 pounds worth of gorilla, and then all this, and everybody else is trying to make their MOBAs, and for the most part, unsuccessfully able to really break in a large portion of that market. And then all of a sudden, here comes Blizzard and drops, you know, Heroes of the Storm, and all of a sudden it's starting to take up large portions of the user base. Blizzard's very good at doing this. So why? Because everybody knows that Blizzard pretty much stands for gaming quality, or at least for gaming quality to the point where you don't expect things to go horribly wrong, and you expect a fun game regardless, and very polished.
I like to think of Blizzard as the anti-Ubisoft. They don't do yearly releases, and everything they release is mostly polished.
Exactly.
Like you don't have to worry about a game falling apart.
Are there, and everything at least works. Yeah, there may be a couple glitches and stuff here, but that's to be expected with any piece of software. But for the most part, it all works and gels with itself, and does so incredibly well. And of course, Blizzard will keep polishing that game until it is a perfect shine.
Until it is the most gleaming turd at the ball.
Exactly. And so, you know, it's like you start seeing everybody else pulling Me Too's. I'm just going like, you know what? You guys are late. You guys are way late. If you get anything, congratulations, more power to you. But Blizzard's just taken a huge bite out of this pie, and I'm not expecting them to really kind of give any back.
Jan, you brought up an interesting point earlier about longevity. Did you want to expand on that?
Just that Blizzard games have a history of going on forever. Like if they put out this card game, you expect it to be out in 2 years, 3 years. Even like Heroes of the Storm, you expect that to just, go on for a while. You're not expecting it to flop. Like there's the DC game that just started up and ended up closing shop within a year. That was a MOBA.
Oh, the DC MOBA? Shows you how much I was paying attention. Yeah.
They came out a couple months ago or a year or something like that, and they closed shop, like, I think in July.
Wow.
Yeah, so if you look at Blizzard, you're going to have at least a pretty decent run at the game.
Yep, because you got Blizzard Bank behind it.
Blizzard Bank. I'd love to cash some checks from Blizzard Bank, let me tell you. So this is as good a time as any to remind you, the listeners, that HammerCast is brought to you by the Hammer Gaming Community. We're an adults-only group of gamers from across North America and Europe that play all sorts of games together, like most of the stuff we've been talking about. The Hammer's been around since 2007, originating as an MMO guild in World of Warcraft, but expanding into a full community with our own forums, Minecraft server, and the podcast you're listening to or watching right now. You can check us out at hammergaming.com. So we're out of the Blizzard news, and we're on to the biggest news of, well, today. YouTube Gaming launched today. This is YouTube's answer to Twitch, which is the game streaming service. Enticing for viewers is a DVR mode that lets you record streams for later playback, while less exciting is the application of YouTube's flawed Content ID system to live streams. So if somebody plays, I don't know, Happy Birthday to You, I guess, because that's under copyright, they'll get muted or shut off or whatever by the Content ID engine, which sucks because a lot of people like to play music. What do you guys think of YouTube Gaming? Have either of you had a chance to take a look at it? I know it's been a busy day for everyone.
I did get to look at it a little bit today. They've got the Android app and I think an iOS app out. I have an Android phone, so I checked out the Android one, and it seems to work just fine. And I assume it also works just fine with their Chromecast application, so I can see getting some use out of that, maybe during tournaments or marathons and stuff like that. As far as their main site, I think it went live or something this afternoon, so I didn't really get to poke around a lot with it until obviously just like a couple hours ago. But from what I looked around, it seems okay. The video quality seems decent. I mean, you can get stuff in 720p and you get the auto scaling and stuff like that. The one thing that I did not like when I poked around is their ability to give you a nice digestible format for the listing of the types of games being played. Let's say here you can find, World of Warcraft. Here you can find Rainbow Six. Here you can find Fallout, etc., or Madden or whatnot. And it just shows up as this, scrollable list. So it's very cumbersome trying to find that one game. Of course, you can search for it if you know what you're looking for.
But if you're just browsing.
But if you're just browsing, it's not exactly friendly. And of course, you get the in your face, hey, here's what's trending and popular and going on right now. And that's nice and everything. But, it's not exactly good for browsing what's going on as far as all the live streams.
Right.
But what's cool is it kind of also hooks into, of course, the back end of YouTube. So all those Let's Plays and other content that's been around forever since YouTube's been around is actually accessible through the new interface. So, and you basically get all the form factor and all of, the new UI and stuff like that when you're actually going to do the searches and play that content. So it's kind of like a secondary window almost into the YouTube backend. And it kind of details that there's a lot of synergy going on. And it makes perfect sense because basically it's just a front end for users to get access to their content to the YouTube streaming services, which have kind of been around for a little while already.
Right. So hammers like Line Freeze and Jinui will be able to, if they were to switch streaming to YouTube Gaming, they'd be able to go ahead and have the video recordings of that on their YouTube channel pretty much immediately.
Exactly, because they would probably just be able to stream directly to it, and then I think probably just live archive it.
Right.
I haven't really gotten a chance to try that aspect out because I haven't really had anything to stream, and so that it looks to be interesting. If it's easier to set up than, let's say, streaming to Twitch, then I think they've got a winner on their hands, especially considering they've got the infrastructure of YouTube backing it. So not only do they have the data centers to hold that all, but they've also got the distribution capability to serve it all too.
I think it's going to be really advantageous for new YouTubers or smaller YouTubers too, because if you favorite a stream, you will automatically subscribe to that user's channel.
Nice.
Oh, that's neat. I like that.
It doesn't go vice versa. So you don't have, if you're just watching their videos, you don't have to favorite their stream or whatever. But if you watch someone's stream and favorite it, you will subscribe to their channel.
And so I guess that gets to another thing, which I actually completely didn't even really think about, is guess what? It also has YouTube's, monetary system already deployed. They don't even have to worry about that because guess what? You become a popular streamer, you're going to make some money.
Yep.
Congratulations to you.
Well, on the flip side, I mean, Twitch has Amazon's entire AWS system behind them as far as infrastructure, and Amazon's been taking payments since Mastodon's walked the earth. So I don't think Twitch is any slouch in those departments either, but it's going to be very interesting to see how YouTube gaming pans out as we move forward. And I'm looking forward to some interesting competition in the game streaming space. Now, Sony's upcoming 3.0 firmware for their PlayStation 4 console is going to add support for streaming to YouTube gaming. It already has support for streaming to Twitch and posting to Facebook. It'll add streaming for YouTube gaming, as well as posting short video clips of your gameplay to Twitter. So I totally expect people to be doing like no-scope 360 headshots and posting them in their little tiny tweets on Twitter.
It's like a gamer's Vine.
Yeah, kind of. So I know I'll be making use of that. Every time I get killed in Destiny, I'm going to be posting a video.
I look forward to this.
And that has been like a proven like winner for games, because there's a game out there called Polybridge. And I'm not sure if you've seen any of these. It's very popular, I guess, in Reddit gaming. You'll see it pop up a lot. And what essentially it is, it's a bridge building game, but it has a very distinctive polygonal look to it. Anyway, what it has built into it is a GIF generator. So you can take your fantastic failures or successes and convert them, or the attempts, into like a 10-second GIF that will be played, as a GIF. So it becomes very easy to share those, hilarious or catastrophic moments. And so I think it's absolute genius for them to do that. It's a great idea, and I think we'll be seeing a lot of very interesting Twitter clips in the future.
I am looking forward to it. Let's talk about Fallout 4. Some Fallout 4 news hit while we were away. First off, Fallout 4 will let you keep playing once the storyline is complete. Now, this doesn't sound like a big deal on the surface, but if you've played previous Fallout titles, you know that it is. In Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, once you finished the core storyline, the credits rolled, and that was it. You were done. You could not keep playing without going back and loading an earlier save that took place before you completed the storyline. So that was the end to your exploration of the wasteland and gathering of items and scratching your completionist itches, which I kind of have. I don't know if you guys do that too, but...
No, I'm like Todd. I don't finish anything.
Fair enough. But it is kind of a neat new addition that Fallout 4 will let you keep going after the credits roll. So you'll still be the hero who saved everything or blew everything up, depending on what your choices are. But you'll be able to keep going and see the aftermath of your decisions, which is an interesting feature. Also, they announced that crafting in Fallout 4 is going to be completely optional. Bethesda showed off a really in-depth and very interesting crafting system for the upcoming game at E3. but they've announced that it's seen as a value-added gameplay system as opposed to essential for progression through the story. You can try as little of it or as much as you want. It's their hope that if you try a little bit of it, you'll see the potential there and keep doing it. But if you want to ignore crafting altogether and just take your trusty laser rifle through the wasteland and, just bull and china shop your way through the story, you can do that too. Are either of you planning on getting Fallout 4?
Yes.
I have New Vegas, and I tried to play with mouse and keyboard and hated it. So I think I'm going to try with the controller before I decide.
Okay, that's fair. I thoroughly enjoyed Fallout 3. I did not play through New Vegas, but I got to watch my brother-in-law play through it, and it was awesome. And the fact that Fallout 4 is taking place in Boston, which is like 2 hours down the road from me, and I love Boston, so I'm actually going to know where the hell I am. That appeals to me greatly. So I'm very much looking forward to Fallout 4 and the crafting and the ability to keep going once I'm done. Nintendo has filed a patent for a discless console. I said discless, not the other thing. Not the other thing you're thinking about, you pervert. Discless. This stokes further speculation about their next console, codenamed NX, being a download-only device. So, what's Nintendo's play here?
Oh, I was hoping for a cartridge.
That could be interesting.
That is true. They could be going back to cartridges.
There's no reason why not.
If you actually go out and look at the patent, it doesn't make it clear whether it's actually going to be download only or just memory cards, because it looks like it has a mechanism to read a memory card. So my guess is, they originally loved cartridges, and cartridges were awesome because it was instantaneous access to data. You didn't have to spin the optical disc and then read off of it and then decipher it and blah 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 blah, or off the hard drive. And so if it's all solid state, well, okay, great. And anybody who's played a handheld within the past couple of years knows that, hey, handhelds, load times and stuff are freaking amazing. So why not do that with a console?
Yeah, I didn't truly appreciate the lightning fast load times from cartridges and handhelds until I bought my PSP back in 2006 and then suddenly had a disc inside a handheld, and it was I loved my PSP. It was a great little console with some great little games, but man, those load times were brutal. Brutal. All right. Windows 10 can search for, detect, and disable pirated games. The end-user license agreement that you agree to when you upgrade or install Microsoft's new operating system allows it to disable counterfeit software. Now, this is weird because I'm a software developer, so I'm frequently writing software, and I want to know if I'm making a game, is Windows 10 going to, jump up and say, hey, that's counterfeit. You can't run that. I'm like, it's my game. I'm writing the thing.
I don't care. You can't do that.
No games for you.
Playing the part of GLaDOS this evening will be Erika Jonell.
I'm sorry, Dave.
Right. So how do you feel about Windows 10 coming in and turning your shit off?
Well, as I posted out on Twitter, I think about a week or two ago, I was initially a fan of Windows 10. I was like, yay, Microsoft did something really nice. And then I started hearing all these and seeing all these interesting things that Microsoft had put into Windows 10 that I didn't quite agree with. And long story short, Windows 10 is no longer on my machine. It has been replaced by Linux.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So, that's how I see it.
Fair enough.
I rolled back to 8.1. everything I read I didn't like, and then as time went by, I was just following my Twitter feed. I just keep seeing people having all these issues. It being a memory sync, like it's awful from what I hear, from at least from the gaming side. So I'm not interested. I don't want it.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear the two of you say that, because, I mean, aside from a couple of launch day issues, which admittedly were not Microsoft's fault, it was NVIDIA not having the driver ready in time.
Oh, no. I had a launch day issue.
Did you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, apparently, Windows, I guess the auto quote-unquote upgrade, doesn't actually do a CRC check on itself.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so when it downloaded itself, it was already corrupted.
So
I had to. It couldn't actually self-detect that it was corrupted, other than the fact that it could not install it. And so I actually had to go deep into the Windows folder, locate those install files, and nuke them, and issue a command line console to get it command to have Windows Update re-download it.
Jeez.
That should not be that difficult.
I mean, the stuff that's been going on with, like, in Windows 8, I've had some other really interesting things with Windows 8 happen where, and a lot of it has to do with the way that the system's partitioned, and I won't really go into it, but other the fact is, if you ever dual boot with Windows 8, don't expect your updates to go well.
Oh, that's interesting. I was considering making my gaming machine a dual boot machine, and you just waved me off. Thank you.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, aside from this one minor launch day issue with my display drivers, my Windows 10 experience has been pretty solid so far. I was coming from Windows 7, so in terms of disk space footprint and just overall speed and memory usage, I got upgrades across the board. Like, it's less bloated, it takes up less room on my hard drive, it boots faster, it just stays out of my way and lets me play my games or write my code, and that's a hell of a lot better than Windows 7 was doing. But yeah, a lot of this news, like the, phoning home even when you tell it not to, and disabling games and other titles it thinks are counterfeit, even if they're
It wasn't
legit.
Just games. It also did it for other types of software. So I guess anything that was illegitimate from Microsoft's viewpoint.
Right. So, I mean, I'm not liking some of the things I'm hearing, and I totally don't blame either of you for rolling back or transitioning back to Linux in your case, Erika. But we'll see if Microsoft actually has the gumption to do good on some of the things that their new operating system does poorly. The fight over Duke Nukem is over. Original owners 3D Realms and new owner Gearbox have settled out of court, the result being that Gearbox is now the sole and rightful owner of the venerable but not any longer venerated shooter franchise. What Gearbox can possibly do with the franchise after the steaming mess that was 2011's Duke Nukem Forever, however, remains a mystery. Any comments?
I'm just kind of wondering why Gearbox or anybody would actually want to touch that cesspool. Just because it's just like, I mean, Duke Nukem was the thing in the day. But, it became the laughing stock of the game community. And then once Duke Nukem Forever came out, it proved itself to still be a laughing stock of the game community. I'm just surprised Gearbox even wanted to touch it with a 20-foot pole.
I think they saw the potential in, maybe not in finishing Duke Nukem Forever, because that was an utter disaster, but now that they own the IP, they have the opportunity to build it back up again and make it respectable. I mean, say what you want about Duke Nukem itself, but Gearbox has a decent pedigree with them doing the remake of Homeworld recently, as well as being the guys behind the Borderlands franchise, which were exquisite. So if these are the guys who are taking over the Duke Nukem as a franchise, and they have the opportunity to build a game from scratch and not take 14 years doing it, then maybe they can do right by Duke. Who knows?
Hey, maybe we'll get
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, maybe we'll get a nice, pretty reboot like Doom is doing.
Yeah, possibly. What was your question, Erika?
But wasn't Gearbox, and please correct me if I'm wrong, the company that also came out with the horrible Alien versus Predator game a couple years ago?
Yes, and I believe it came down to a lot of interference from Sega making that game utter shit.
Okay.
But we'll go ahead and put a link into the show notes about that particular controversy as well. The Twitch community, not content to play Pokemon or fighting games, has started playing From Software's 2011 title Dark Souls, which is widely considered one of the most difficult and punishing games of the modern era. As with previous Twitch Plays series, the game is controlled via chat, either in a democratic chat room votes manner or an anarchy mode that processes commands from the chat room in the order in which they are received. The results are predictably hilarious, and we'll put a link to the channel in the show notes. My question to you is this. If you could have the Twitch community play through any game at all, regardless of the technical constraints or the hoops they'd have to jump through to make it work, what would you want to watch them play?
Oh my gosh. Oh.
What was that game? I can't remember the name, but it was the game that you play in a non-Euclidean space.
Oh, was it the black and white puzzle game that was on Steam?
Yeah,
I know what game you're talking about, but I
wish I could remember the name.
I can't get the name. I own the game and I don't know what it is.
Or something like that. But I could see absolute hilarity ensuing in that.
Yeah,
or
that's
actually,
a good choice.
something else that would actually be probably even funnier. A hardcore PvP MMO.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That would be hilarious. Just run World of Warcraft arenas all day with all 6 characters controlled by 6 different Twitch channels.
Oh my gosh.
That would be so painful to watch.
Hilarious.
I think we broke Erika.
Oh, yeah. I that has my vote right there.
How about you, Jan?
I really enjoyed watching that arc Survival of the Fittest. So I think I would honestly watch the shit out of that if it was, chat controlled, like the drops, like a carnivore drop, just come randomly. I love that. I think I would watch that all day.
I would want to watch Twitch play. It would be a very short game, but because of the nature of the game, it would take them forever to finish it. I want to see Twitch try to play Thomas Was Alone.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Because there's so many jumps and timing things to be done in that game, and having to wait on the chat room, it would be utter and complete chaos.
Evil? Wow. Another one just for the sheer entertainment factor would be Just Cause 2.
Ooh. Lots of explosions. My son calls the Just Cause series Michael Bay the video game.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
Also, Erika, some real-time follow-up. The puzzle game you were thinking of is called Antichamber.
Antichamber, yes. That's its new name. It had like an older name, I think, until they put it out on Steam. But yes, that's the one.
All right, well, I think that'll be it for this week. Thank you, ladies, and thank you, everyone, for tuning in. HammerGaming.com/HammerCast/23 is where you can find show notes for this episode. We're Hammer Gaming on Twitter. Follow us, and you can get updates on when new episodes are available, as well as other gaming news and news from the Hammer Gaming community. Erika, where can folks find you online?
You can find me online on Twitter at Zevram, and just drop me a line, say hi.
So that's XEVREM?
Yes.
All right. And Jan, where can folks find you on Twitter?
You can find me on Twitter at bitchpudding, and it's spelled just like it sounds.
All right, then. That's pudding with a G.
Yes.
No, it doesn't just cut off at the end there. All right, so that's BITCHPUDDING. I am Valthonis on Twitter. That's VALTHONIS. Thank you all very much for listening, and we'll see you next week. Todd would want me to put in here to thumbs up and fuck on.